All right, today we're going to look at an important concept here, a really important concept, talking about inputs and outputs. We're really just giving them new names, but talking about how they relate to these things called functions. We've called these two things inputs and outputs. We've called them x's and y's. Sometimes we call the x the independent variable and the y the dependent variable. We do that in science a lot. But for our purposes today, we're going to call these things domain and range. The domain is the x values and the range is the y. The domain is the inputs and the range is the output. Okay, so what we want to be able to do is look at a graph, determine its domain and its range, or given a domain, find a range, or determine if something is in the domain or is in the range. So for our first question here, it says, consider this function shown on the graph. So again, that curve, this is our function. This is our thing called f of x, okay? We're looking at all of the points on that graph. It says evaluate each of the following. So just as a reminder from last week, find f of negative 3. F of negative 3 means to go when x is negative 3 and find out what the y value is. That would be 1. F of 1 means to go when x is 1, look down and find the y value. That would be negative 3. And f of 3, 1, 2, 3, look up, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 5. Okay? So finding those, being able to read the graph. Given an input, what's the output? Part B says, can the function rule given by this graph, so again, that graph is our function, can it give us a value when x is 5? Well, when x is 5, there's nothing on that graph, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I look up or down, there's nothing on that graph. So we cannot spit out, we can't have an output value for an input of 5. Okay, there's nothing in that graph. The graph doesn't continue to when x is 5. And what that allows us to do is answer question C. Question C says, is x equals 5 in the domain of the function? No, there's no value when x equals 5. 5 is not in the domain of the function. Part D says, give two other values of x that are not in the domain of the function. Well, let's see. X equals 5 has no point, x equals 6 has no point, x equals 7, or x equals negative 6, negative 10, negative 12. That graph is contained. It's contained all within here. In fact, sometimes it helps us to draw a box around that function to determine these domains and the ranges. Okay? Our domain, again, is the x values. It's any x values from here to here. The range is the y values, any y values from here to the top of the graph. Okay, so this is what we're talking about, inputs and outputs, except we're going to call them domains and ranges. Question E says, circle the following y values that are in the range of the function. And it says show evidence. Well, they want us to draw right on the graph. So let's see, is y equals 0 in the range? Well, y equals 0 is here. Yeah, that's in the range. How about y equals 6? Let's see if I count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no points on the graph when y equals 6, so no, y equals 6 is not in the range. Y equals negative 1. If I go down 1 and look over, yeah, those there are points on the graph when y equals negative 1. That's in the range. When y equals 3, if I look over, yeah, there's a point when y is 3. Y is in the range. Y equals negative 5. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Down here at negative 5, there's no points on the graph. Negative 5 is not in the range. Y equals 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I look over, yeah, there's a point on the graph there. Y equals 4 is in the range of the graph. So again, domain is inputs or x's and range is y's or the outputs. The next question asks us to write the domain and range using a single inequality, and we're going to single inequality for each one. I drew that box around the function. That box tells me the domain. Where does it start and where does it end? Let's see, it starts at negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it ends at 3. Well, we're going to write this with one of those compound inequalities that we've been using for the last couple of months. Domain is x, x is in the middle. That negative 5 is included, so I'll say less than or equal to, and again, less than or equal to. All of the x's that are between negative 5 and 3. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the range, except I'm going in the y direction. So from down here to up here, I go in the y direction, and if I count, that's starting at negative 4. We always go low to high for the range. High of 5, a low of negative 4. The only difference with the range here is I'm going to put a y in the middle instead of an x. Okay, so we can write them with that single compound inequality, just telling me starting and ending points. Starting and ending left to right for domain, and low to high for range. Domain and range, input, output, x, y, independent, dependent. So those last questions dealt with a graph. This little weird looking thing is called a mapping diagram. And it asks us something about roster notation. But basically what's happening is here is they're giving us a function. Here's our definition of function. And the domain is shown below. In other words, these are the inputs, or the x values. They want to know what are the outputs. Well, let's see, if x is negative 4 divided by 2 would be negative 2 minus 3 would be negative 5. If x is 6 divided by 2 is 3, minus 3 is 0. And if x is 10 divided by 2 is 5, minus 3 is 2. Now with a mapping diagram, a lot of times what you'll see is arrows or lines connecting the domain point to the range point. Not a big deal. It says write the range in roster notation. Well, that just means write as a set. Negative 5, 0, and 2 would be my range. It doesn't matter what order I write those in. It's called a set of numbers, and a set order doesn't matter. I could mix them up. They happen to be in numerical order in this case. It doesn't matter at all, though. Okay, so that's roster notation. And again, we can just write them as a list. On the graph, we couldn't write them as a list because there's infinitely many points on that list. In this short little quick domain range mapping, we could write them in a list, a little roster. Let's look at exercise 3 here. Exercise 3 says, which of the following values is not in the domain of the function? Illustrate your thinking by marking points on the graph. And again, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw a box around this function. From lowest point to highest point, from leftmost point to rightmost point. And again, the domain represents all of the x values. Question here is, which value is not in the domain of this function? If x is negative 3, yeah, that's in the domain. If x is negative 4, that's in the domain. If x is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's over here. That one's not in the domain. If x is 0, yeah, that's in the domain. It's within that box from left to right. Okay, and that box is helpful. In the domain or not in the domain. This last question is another piecewise function, and I'll walk you through this one as well. So the question says, consider this piecewise linear function by this formula. And again, this formula is a little weird, right? It's got this bracket here, and it's split up into two parts. It wants us to graph this when x is between negative 4 and 2, graph it like this. And then when x is from 2 to 4, graph this thing. So I'm going to make a table, and I'm going to fill in values, and then I'm going to graph. So I've made a table, and I've put those values starting from when x is negative 4 and ending when x is 4. And what I'm going to do is evaluate that function in two different ways. And I've kind of drawn this green line across here as sort of the splitting point. It's when that function changes from being the opposite of x plus 2 divided by 2 to when it becomes 4x minus 10. Let me do the first couple of points with you, and then I want you to fill out that table, and we'll graph and see if your graph matches mine. So if x is negative 4, I would take the opposite of negative 4 plus 2, and I would divide that by 2. So that's the opposite of negative 2 divided by 2. The opposite of negative 2 is 2 divided by 2. That should be 1. When x is negative 3, I would do the same thing. So I'll put negative 3 in for x. Negative 3 minus 2 is negative 1. The opposite of negative 1 is 1. Divided by 2, that would be 1/2, or I could put 0.5. All right, so fill in the rest of that table. Remember that when you get down to the 3 and the 4, we're going to use this function instead. So plug 3 in for x, then plug 4 in for x. Usually what will happen is at 2, that breaking point will have the same value. So let's check that too. So plot your points and then check with mine. Hit pause. So these are the values that I got, and if I plot them, -4, 1, then I'm going down by halves each time until I get to 2. And then once I get to number 3, I'm at 3, 2. So now the graph starts going up, and 4, 6. So my graph would look like this. And the question says, determine the function's range. So that means what's the lowest point, what's the highest point, and how can we write it with that inequality? Well, let's see, the lowest point was -2, the highest point was 6. So we would say -2 to 6, less than or equal to, less than or equal to, and remember with range, we put a y in the middle. Okay, those piecewise functions, not easy to do. We're not going to do much with them this year. I want you to have seen them. So give the homework a try, and then that's it for our unit on functions. We'll play around with these a little bit, but we're basically done. Okay, we learned a lot in a very short amount of time. Good job. Try the homework, and I'll collect the packets next time I see you. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.